Derrick Henry and a chance to finish that game. Short field or long field, Allen was going to finish it regardless, so Harbaugh gave him the chance. Not when Allen spent the entire fourth quarter carving them. I'm Jim Rome.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Well, hey there. Welcome in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor alongside you here on a Tuesday, getting you ready for the rest of the week. We have Monday Night Football. Our first one of those is in the books. We've got Royals baseball to talk about. Reluctantly, not a good Monday night for the Royals. We'll bring in our insider, Jaylon Thompson, to join the show and discuss things there. It's all coming for you here, and it's What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring the Pepperoni Pizza that's topped with sliced, cubed, or deli-cut pepperoni. Pepperoni, now available in a lunch or full size at Wichita Brewing Company. Pizza and beer made here. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. It was a fun Monday Night Football last night, that debut of J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings, the comeback in the second half, and then Caleb Williams tried to outduel him late in the game. That was a fun bow to put on week one of the NFL slate.
It was, and it was interesting. A couple young quarterbacks. It looked there for a minute like Caleb Williams was a different man. His opening drive was awesome, and it looked like J.J. McCarthy was going to struggle. And then how the turntables. It flipped upside down a little bit there, and we saw McCarthy finish strong. And not that Williams fell flat or anything necessarily. The Bears' offense in general just did. It was the much-awaited Ben Johnson debut. Tommy, I was glad to see that game on that slate because, as we mentioned yesterday, this quarterback class. When you look at all of them, like there aren't any of them that you would look at, I don't think, right now and be like, yeah, that guy's not going to be any good. I think they all have a chance to be at least good NFL quarterbacks, and some of them are going to be real good.
Yeah, at halftime of the game last night, though, you probably could have convinced me that it wasn't going to be J.J. McCarthy. He looked really bad in the first half. But you know what? It's his debut. It's week one. It's been long anticipated, long awaited. And then he finally came to life in the second half, and he looked every bit of a good, solid, if not great NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he did. He'll be fine. He was. What's funny is I liked these two. And I had Caleb Williams 1, if I remember correctly. And then I had McCarthy and Daniels kind of 2A and 2B, but they all look good. It's going to be a fun one to follow throughout the next few years. And as I watch it, I'm like, who's going to be, because right now it's been so dominated by Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. And probably we should put Joe Burrow in there. And so it's like, okay, these guys, because they're all young-ish, right? And it's like, well, who's going to challenge them, right? Is anybody going to take the mantle from those four anytime in the next, 6 years? It's hard to imagine it, but this is probably the best shot here in this group, somebody elevating. And Jaden Daniels certainly did his part last year to convince us, but we'll see the rest. Caleb Williams, he looked a little different to me than he did a year ago. I don't know about you, Tommy, in that one. He looked a little more confident. He looked a little more sharp maybe than a year ago. A better offensive line will help. He still had, a little bit of a jittery feet, but I thought he looked as good or better than he did pretty much all of last year.
Well, I think it's a lot of different things. I think number one, you've got a year under your belt. And so that helps. You're not, experiencing things for the very first time. So, going into your sophomore season, that will help for sure. You've got a guy in Ben Johnson that the Bears bring over for you. I mean, everything that they have done offensively is for the future of Caleb Williams. The offensive line retooling, making sure that the weapons and the skill positions are there for him. So I would imagine that. I agree with you. I think he looked more comfortable last night. Didn't look 100% comfortable, but more comfortable than he did in a good portion of last season. And then, of course, I think as the year goes on, we'll continue to see him settle in more. I have really no concerns right now about the Bears. They looked really good to start the game. They tried to come back late. If it wasn't for that little stretch where they let the Vikings get back in it, they'd be 1-0 right now. So I don't feel overly concerned about the Bears.
No, I don't either. Vikings take it 27-24 in Monday Night Football, the opener. It was a tight game. You had the fireworks. It was a perfect way to end what was a great week one in the NFL. Just all kinds of drama. It's all there for us, and we'll get ready and start loading up for week two of the NFL. And we'll do that today on this show. We'll kind of look ahead. We'll continue to discuss week one. We did a little of that yesterday, but we can look a little deeper into it and get you the latest on the Chiefs as well today. The Royals fall 10-2 last night, Tommy, to Cleveland. It was never very close, to be quite honest. It unraveled quickly. They got down, and then in the fourth inning, Cleveland put up a 6 spot and never looked back. Kansas City has got to be better than that. Now we look at these Major League Baseball standings, and they're looking up at a couple of teams. These are I love to call it butt clinching baseball, and you just can't afford these losses. They've now got 2 teams ahead of them, Tommy, just to catch Seattle.
Well, they were getting no hit until the 8th inning. I mean, like they just about were on the wrong end of a no hitter for Cleveland. Fortunate, that they were able to break it up. So it didn't add insult to injury, but it certainly doesn't help things in the wild card race and the playoff push and all of that. They're 2 games over 500. They've got 73 wins right now. My guess would be the magic number is probably 85. It's probably dropped a little bit from what we thought a few weeks ago. So in the 18 remaining games, you've got to go 12-6 to get to 85. Doable for the Royals. It absolutely is doable, but you can't have games like you had last night.
Absolutely not. Or at least not a lot of them. And probably we'll say that, and one of these teams will lose a couple games, and then they'll just find a way to stay back in it like they have been a lot lately. Hey, Shocker Nation, painting the Kansas State Fair black and yellow on Saturday, September 13th for Shocker Saturday at the Kansas State Fair in Hutch. We're airing a special show live and on site at the fairgrounds with Wichita State AD Kevin Saul and head coaches Terry Nooner, Brian Green, Christy Breadbinner. Tune in live to KFH on 97.5 and 1240 AM, or check it out in person live from the House of Capper at the Kansas State Fairgrounds on Saturday, September 13th. That show's at noon. Is that right, Tommy?
11 o'clock.
11 to noon. So 11 a.m. Come see us at the fair. We'll be out there. Again, the House of Capper at the Kansas State Fairgrounds. Bit of a washout yesterday. So if you were planning on going yesterday and you're looking for another day, Saturday will be great. Come say hi. I'll also be out there this morning and afternoon for 12 News. I'm headed straight there after we get off the air here. And it's always nice to be out there. It'll be my day out there, and we'll chat it up. And I'll get lots of questions about K-State. I can guarantee you that right now. Lots of questions about KU and lots of questions about the Chiefs. Here we go.
Got your autograph hand ready to go. You're going to be signing those glossies left and right.
Yeah, we got the glossies. We've got those. We'll have swag bags, I'm sure. But it'll be fun. I always enjoy being out at the fair at least one time we of course send our whole crew out there over the course of the week. But it's always fun to chat it up. So if you're out there, come say hi today and then Saturday for that special Shocker program there, 11 a.m. out at the fairgrounds this weekend. All right, when we come back, let's dig into the Royals a little bit. Let's dig into Monday Night Football a little further, and we'll start to look at week 2 of the NFL schedule. It's all on Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
right, hey there. Welcome back. It's Sports Daily. We're glad to be here. Can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. We come back, Tommy. We get sort of an update from Andy Reid on the Xavier Worthy and Jaylon Royals situation yesterday. Reid speaking with the media. It's not much of it. I don't know what to take from it. It's interesting. So the report has been that he is, let's really dissect this, day to day, that he's trying to avoid surgery and play with a brace. Andy Reid did not say day to day. Andy Reid said day by day. And I do think there's a difference. It was a little confusing because that was the report, right? Day to day, which makes you think, oh, there's a chance he could play like right away. I agree with day to day meaning that. I'm not sure that day by day means that. I think day by day is like,
Yeah, what do you think day by day means?
like he'll take it day by day just to try to like rehab or do something. Like I mean, it's a separated shoulder. I know those things can go back in, and then there's a risk of them coming out. And playing with a brace makes some sense to keep it from separating. But how do you like get full extension and catch a ball and do the things that you need to do with the shoulder brace on? So I think there's maybe a little more optimism, just a little too early because people thought they heard day to day, which is an actual injury designation of like, yeah, you could be ready to go. When in fact he said day by day, which makes me think like we're just gonna have to take this thing day by day, man. Like we don't know what to expect yet. So that was the update on him. And Jaylon Royals, we're getting nothing on Royals. Just that, yeah, he's coming along. What is wrong with him? Like, give us something. Like, what kind of timetable are we looking at with Jaylon Royals?
Yeah, I know. Like with Royals, it's what, knee tendonitis. Isn't that the diagnosis for him? And it's been something that has lingered throughout the preseason, and of course, he didn't travel with the team. That's one of the things. Like I always listen to Andy Reid when he's talking about injuries, and he's usually very vague and usually very much like, oh, he's coming along. We're taking it a step at a time. And so, you can never really draw major conclusions from that. And so with a guy like Royals, I'm not expecting to see him until there's something more definitive. And the fact that it's been very vague for a while, and really the last monumental news about him was that he wasn't going to be traveling with the team to Brazil. So I've counted him out for this weekend. Honestly, I've counted him out for the foreseeable future until I'm told otherwise, because there really isn't anything that would lead us to believe that, he's a couple weeks out, or we just don't know. We're not hearing anything about, oh yeah, we're looking at probably 4 weeks, or we just don't, there's no number attached to it. And so at that point, I'm crossing him out on things until we get a little bit, more definitive status.
And that's the problem right now for the Chiefs. So it was interesting. You go into this, and while we were waiting on Rashee Rice's suspension, and it kind of felt like that was coming later, it was like, man, they go from razor thin last year to just a really deep room. They draft Royals just in case, and then it looked like Rice would play, and then it's like, okay, well, now you got Rice and Worthy and Juju and Hollywood and Royals and Kelsey, and it's like, man, here we go. Finally. It's, finally, for the first time in 3 or 4 years, like it doesn't feel like the Chiefs are running on fumes at wide receiver. Well, then Royals leaves practice. Like, okay. And then, Hollywood Brown gets banged up a little bit in the preseason, and Rashee Rice's suspension news comes down. And now you've got the Worthy injury, and you're like, okay, well, now it's a room of Juju, Hollywood Brown, and Travis Kelsey. It's a problem. And it was a problem. It's one of the reasons that we're a little skittish on the Chiefs early on, is because there's a really good chance with the Rice suspension coming and the schedule that they have to play early, that this team's going to be looking up. I mean, I think the real question is, if we look at those 6 games, and we obviously know that they won't have Rice, right, during those 6 games. We don't know when they'll get Royals. Like, absolutely no idea when they'll get Royals.
We have
Like,
no idea if they even get him back, how much of an impact he'll even make. We've never seen the guy on the field before. So that, I mean, that even adds another wrinkle into the entire thing.
yeah, so I don't think you count on anything from him. And then it's like, okay, well, Xavier Worthy could come back at some point in those 6 weeks. But if he comes back and he's playing in a shoulder brace with a dislocated shoulder, like, what is he? What does Worthy even give you when he comes back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking about a percentage of what he could, probably do fully healthy. And so I guess that becomes the major question. Is it better to let Xavier Worthy rehab fully and get back to a point to where he is as close to 100% as possible? Or do you throw him out on the field when he is clearly less than 100% and taking precautions to not severely injure himself? And the bad thing about that is that if he's wearing a brace and he's got a dislocated shoulder, you know who also knows that? The defenses.
Sure.
And they're going to be targeting him left and right. Who knows how effective he can even be. We are 1 game into the NFL season, and we're already looking at a very precarious situation in that wide receiver room.
I'm looking right now at a recovery time on a surgery for a separated shoulder. And the problem is these things can come back out. I guess it's different than a dislocated shoulder, but if it's minor, it's 2 to 4 weeks. If it's moderate, it's 4 to 6. If it's severe, it's 6 to 12. I think based on the look of it all, we could assume it's at least moderate, if not severe. That's probably the reason they don't want to do surgery, is because it could probably threaten the majority of this season. And I think the risk they'll have to understand, and I don't, is what is the re-aggravation risk if you delay it, right? Is there any way to delay this and not take any more risk to the injury outside of a pain tolerance thing? I don't know the answer to that, but we'll see. Maybe it is just minor and they don't need to. But either way, let's just assume they're not going to have any of them through the first 6 weeks. And I don't think that's unfair. I think that is a totally fair right now assumption.
Yeah, and I think the question number 1, as you brought up, is the risk of re-injury. But question number 2 is even effectiveness. Like how effective can he even be rocking a shoulder brace out there on the field trying to play an NFL game? And I think that we won't know until we actually see it. We won't know until if he gets out there with a brace on, can he do anything of significance? I think the jury is probably still out on whether or not that's even a good idea.
Yeah, and look, I'll trust their doctors and stuff on that, but I think as we're trying to understand what they're going to be dealing with, we've got to look at it that way. So we look at those you look at those first 6 weeks, and it was always going to be a problem for the Chiefs if they were fully healthy. So next week it's the Giants. You can pencil that one in for a win. It's never a foregone conclusion in the NFL, but for this conversation, let's do that. Then it's the Ravens at home. Then it's the Jags on the road. Then it's the Lions at home. Lions struggled a little bit, so let's call that one maybe a win. The Jags look pretty good, but let's say it's 3-3, and it could be worse than that. It could be better, but it could be worse. But we'll just call it 3-3 through the first 6. Then they get Rashee Rice back. I do think when they get Rashee Rice back, Tommy, it will change the outlook of the season. He is that kind of impactful player. He does have that kind of connection with Patrick Mahomes. But what I wonder about now, as we look at this, is can you overcome 3-3 when it comes to home field advantage in the AFC? And I'm not sure you can. Can you overcome 3-3 when it comes to the AFC West? I think is the next question on that list. I think that's more probable, but with a loss to the Chargers already, with the expected growth of the Broncos and the Raiders being probably a little bit better than people expected, I'm not that, that's where the challenges this season are going to come. Like, you have to, as we project them all the way out, it's like, okay, this may be another year like 2 years ago where the Chiefs, this thing probably isn't going to go through Arrowhead. And it's only week 1, but with the deck stacked against them out of the gate with this schedule, I do think that's a fair thing right now to think about, is that it's going to go through a different place this year.
Here's another hypothetical for you, and I thought about this yesterday. Had everybody known what was going to happen in week 1 with the Xavier Worthy injury, if you're the Chiefs, would you have done things different with Rashee Rice and maybe not have him settle with the league to start the season suspended? Would you let it play out and go to the arbitration at the end of September, where you would then have him available for the first 4 weeks of the season, knowing what we know now? Hindsight's 2020, but knowing what we know now, that's intriguing, because you could have delayed and kicked the can down the road a little bit, where you at least would have had Rashee Rice for the first 4 games.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's definitely a part of it that's like, get that thing over with. I think they were probably more concerned with the length of game, with the number of games, than the timing of the games. And I think the worst case scenario for them would have been for that to happen at the end of the year. So I bet you, and look, like Hollywood Brown found a groove. They peppered him with 16 targets in the game, and he started to do something with them late. Juju is Juju, right? We talked to Joshua Briscoe yesterday. He has seen the same thing we have. Like Tyquan Thornton does still at least provide you a deep threat. But for me, I look at all of this, and it's got to go back to Travis Kelce's going to have to be a thing early in the year. And I think he has trained himself to do that in the offseason. And I know he's older, and I know that's a lot to ask of him, but it feels like they're going to need to lean into him a lot over the next few weeks. Like it feels like Kelce's got to be a major factor to help bridge that gap until they can get to Rashee Rice coming back. And I'll tell you what I'm worried the most about is that Hollywood Brown's not going to be able to stay on the field for 6 weeks straight. That's what concerns me. We saw him get nicked up again this preseason. He's been an injury-prone guy throughout his career. That's where I'm concerned, is like, what do they do if Hollywood goes down now?
Yeah,
because that's a real possibility.
You're talking about a wide receiver room of Juju, of Tyquan Thornton, Jason Brownlee, Nico Remigio. Like, those are your wide receivers. And all of a sudden you've got, people dropping like flies. Rice is out for a while with his suspension. Worthy, who knows what will happen with him. And then if Hollywood can't stay healthy, hopefully he'll be able to. But with the usage that they're targeting him, and they're going to have to lean on him in a big way, that does increase his injury risk too.
So that brings us to a question that is being asked a lot of, and we'll float this out there and we'll talk about it in the next hour, because it is a question of, do they need to go and, like they did last year, already get aggressive and add somebody? And there's one big elephant in the room, name on the list of the team that looked the worst in week 1. That's, that could be in for a disaster type season. And that's Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. It's been bantied about a lot, and it's being floated out there a lot. And I do think there is probably at least going to be a conversation about it. I think there are a lot of challenges with it, to be perfectly honest. But there is some sense to be made of it. So
I would say it's a non-zero chance.
Oh, it's way more.
I don't know if it's way more than that. I don't know if it's way more than a non-zero chance. I would, at this point, I'd probably put it in the single digits. In my opinion.
I think here's why I think it's here's why I think it's way more, is I believe the numbers can work. There is an out after this season. There's a 2026 out in this contract. The way that I understand it now, what I have a hard time with is it after next season or is it before next season? I know that he can become a free agent in 2027. They can void 27, 28, and 29. What I don't quite have a good grasp of is what happens after this year if they want it out. Is he on the full hook for next year's salary, which is almost $30 million? That's what I don't have quite the understanding of fully. It's a little bit tricky. I think he has to play next year. I think the outs all begin after next season, but it gets a little bit confusing. So what's the financial impact of it would be the question for me. Is there a way to do it if you know he's going to make, because he's only making like 10 million this year, the way they've got it structured, but can you afford for him to make 30 million next year and do the things that you need to do? How desperate are you? Because I think if they could figure out the contract part of it, I don't think because of the contract part of it, he would be super expensive. And then it becomes well, could you just bring Tyreek Hill, plug him right in and go? And the answer is yes, you could. You absolutely could. And would he cure all of? Yeah, he'd cure a lot of them. And I know he's older and I know he's not been the same player, but man, it would make it's the same MO they've used for a long time. So we'll talk about that in the second hour because it's getting some run. And I think rightfully so. And I would be stunned if the Chiefs haven't already had that conversation, at least internally. The Dolphins are far away from punting on this season because they had one bad game against the Colts. But it could unravel on them quickly. And by week 3 or 4, we could be having that conversation.
If I'm the Dolphins, I mean, I'm not punting on the season necessarily right yet, but I also recognize that the Chiefs are very nearly at a point where they're desperate. And so, and knowing the fact that you can move Tyreek Hill and still have Jalen Waddle, still have, some of their other, Achane and everybody else they've got there. But you could load up for the future. So you're not necessarily punting on this season. You're unloading an asset and you're loading up for the future. I think the Chiefs would be willing to make that call, take that call, have that conversation. I think it's far away from it actually coming to fruition. That's why I say I would still probably have it in the single digits, but it's certainly a non-zero in my mind.
Non-zero. There's no doubt about it. I think it's probably a little bit more. Now, whether it gets done or not, I would imagine the Chiefs' interest is pretty high. And I think that's for me, that's the point. Like they would have to be interested in that because it makes too much sense. It's something that would work if you can make it work financially. We'll discuss it in the next hour. So speaking of the Chiefs, we'll be talking Chiefs tonight on the Chiefs Kingdom Show, 5 o'clock on 97.5 and 1240 KFH, followed up with the Royals baseball on KFH tonight at 6. The Royals are facing the Guardians in Cleveland. Tune in, listen online, kfhradio.com. Download the free Odyssey app. Search KFH. You can leave us voice messages there. That promo transition from the Chiefs Kingdom Show to the Royals, we'll do the same. We've got Jaylon Thompson, our Royals insider, hopping on with us next. It's Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And welcome back in. Jaylon Thompson, our Royals insider, a beat reporter for KC Star, Kansas City Royals, joining the show here. Royals fall 10-2 last night, Jaylon. Not the start that we wanted to see to the road trip here. Royals now 3 games back, trailing both Cleveland and Texas to get to Seattle. What'd you make of the game last night?
I think you just have to tip your cap to Slade Ciccone, who was really good last night. he came out, had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning, and really he overmatched the Royals' bats pretty much throughout the game. The Royals made some good contact, but the Guardians, their defense and Ciccone, they kept them off the scoreboard pretty much the entire time till they got the 2-run single by Jack Caglione in the 9th. I just think that it was a tough night as well for Ryan Berger. You know, that happens. That was probably his worst start of his young career. But he'll bounce back, and just not what you wanted to come to Cleveland, knowing the gravity of the playoff situation that's at hand. But the Royals got to get it in gear because they have 3 more with the Guardians, and then they got Philadelphia this weekend.
It was kind of adding insult to injury, Jaylon, that when you take a look at the standings after last night's games, not only do the Guardians leapfrog the Royals in the wild card, the Rangers win, the Mariners win, and all of a sudden, like you have more of a hole to dig yourself out of. It's a far cry from where we were, 72 hours ago when the Royals were a half game back of the Mariners before their game on Saturday night. Where do the Royals go from here? When you're so close to being able to get right back into that, now you kind of fall back a little bit. What does the mindset have to be?
I think that really for every team that's in this race for the last playoff spot, it's a matter of you just got to win your games. You can't really be worried about what the other teams around you are doing because all of them have shown that the propensity to get hot at one point and then the propensity to lose at one point, right? The Mariners, they lost 4 straight before they turned things around last week. The Royals won 3 straight before they lost a couple of games. So it's just a matter of who's going to be there at the end. I've said this from the beginning. I think that for the Royals, it's going to come down to that last week of the season. You know, those 3 games in West Sacramento against the Athletics. I think that's going to be the key for them at least to decide who's going to go to the playoffs and who's not. Really, what the Royals need to do is just win their games, find a way to either split this series or take the 3 out of 4 with the Guardians, and then win a game in Philadelphia. And then you probably feel good about yourself coming back home to face the Seattle Mariners because that's the key series next week. Those 3 games against the Mariners. Because if you stay within 3 games of them, you can easily leap your way back up to that 3rd and final spot.
I just what is going to have to happen for them to win enough games? To me, it feels like a couple of these guys offensively are going to have to get hot, whether that's some combination of Salvi and Vinny and Bobby Witt if they can ever get him back, and Jack Caglione. Like, it's going to take two of those guys probably to really get on one of those kinds of heaters to just sort of carry this thing that way. Is that too much to ask for something like that? One of the, we only got a couple weeks left in this thing. So we've seen those kinds of streaks before.
Yeah, I don't think so, Jacob. I think that a lot of it has to come down to which guys are you going to play? You know, who's going to be high? It might be one of those big 4 that you mentioned, Jacob, but it also could be someone like an Adam Frazier. It could be a Mike Yastrzemski. It could be a young guy like Carter Jensen. You know, just someone that provides that spark. If you look at the team right now, Michael Massey's hitting the ball really well since coming back from AAA in his rehab assignment. I think that he could be someone that potentially could give a little nice spark. Maybe it's a weak spark. Maybe it's 3 games. The Royals just need to cobble together enough hits to win these games. And Cole Reagans is going to be coming back. He looked good in his rehab start. I mean, he looked really sharp, really fine. Bobby Witt Jr. is working his way back from the back spasms. They're saying that he's progressing well. He could be back. He could have been available at the pinch run yesterday if the situation presented itself, but, they stayed away from him. Jonathan India is working his way back. So I believe that the Royals are going to have their guys for the final stretch run. It's just that this week is really difficult. But if you get through this week, then you have everything that you need to make this last push, starting with Seattle at home next week.
What's the latest on Bobby Witt Jr., Jaylon? We know we haven't seen him in the lineup the last couple of days. Exited the game early over the weekend at home against the Twins. Do we have an update on his prognosis and where things stand with him with these critical games coming up?
Yeah, yesterday he did pretty much everything. As he ran, he played defense. He was able to just get out on the field. It's just a matter of his back continuing to just get, I guess, unlocked. When if you have a back spasm, anyone that's had it knows that once your back starts getting back to where you start feeling able to be fluid again, then you're ready to get back in there and you're good to go. So that's kind of where he's at. He's kind of working his way back. The spasms are starting to subside, but from what we've all heard from yesterday, it wasn't quite there yet. But that could change today. He could be in the line today if he's feeling back to where he needs to be. So it's really a day-to-day thing with him. And, the Royals need him in that lineup. And I think that when he comes back, I think that you'll see the Bobby Witt Jr. that we've all been waiting to see this season, go on that hot stretch like Jacob was mentioning, because he knows that the Royals need him. The Royals know that they need him. And looking at the standings, they know it's go time for sure.
Noah Cameron tonight. One thing we know about Cleveland is they can pitch. They've got a bunch of guys who just always seem to be pretty good. Cameron, Waka, Kolek, the rest of the way in this series. What do you think tonight? Noah Cameron's he's been such a good story this year, Jaylon, but his last 3 times out, he's put up, more than a run. It was 2 runs, then 6, then 3 in just 5 innings. Where are we at with Noah Cameron? Does he have enough gas left in the tank in this maiden voyage of being a major leaguer?
I think he does. I think that for him, it's just going to come down to continue to be consistent. I think it helps that he's facing off against the Guardians, a team that he knows he's seen before. So I think for him, at least, it's just a matter of can they be able to sustain a couple of wins and, put some things together. Looking at, like you said, the rest of the rotation that's coming up after that, I think the roles for as much as yesterday's game probably was tough and difficult, it's good to get that out the way because now you can just say this is a 3-game series now. Let's take the rest of the series, Let's take 2 of 3, get to Philadelphia and see what happens. So I think that'll be key for them moving forward. You can't really do nothing about a guy almost throwing a no-hitter on you yesterday. That's just, it was his night, right? So now it's a new start, new fresh thing that you can do. You just got to win. That's the key. Win the games that you have, and everything else will figure itself out.
18 games left for the Royals in the regular season. They have 73 wins. In my opinion, I put the magic number for wins around 85 to get into the playoffs, which would mean they would need to go 12-6 in their final 18 games. Is that kind of on par with what you think? Do you think that number is different than that?
I think so. I would put it maybe just to be safe at 87. So you might have to win 14 games, which is going to be really tough to do. Yeah. But if you want to get there, there's an avenue to do it. You just have to win. There's really no margin for error. I think to really be safe, I say 87, but in reality, you might be right, Tommy, and probably will be 85 that gets it done. But like you said, it depends on who gets hot at the right time. Because if the Mariners get streaky and they go ahead and win as much as the Royals win, then there's really no point. You can't catch them, right? So that's why I keep going back to that Mariners series, because you have to beat them at Kauffman Stadium. If you lose that series or you split at some point, well, you can't really split. It's 3 games. But if you lose that series, then it's pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean, one of these 4 teams is going to get hot. One of these 4 teams is going to win a bunch of their remaining games. That's going to be the team that gets in. I mean, they're all close enough that whoever gets on and wins, 60, 65% of these games in this short stretch, that's probably going to be what it takes. Jaylon, what do you have for us at the KC Star?
This week, we're talking playoffs and more playoffs and trying to see what all of these games matter and what they're about. Also, I'll have a story on Jonathan Bowen. Long time ago, he threw a no-hitter as a starter in the minor leagues. Now he's up with the Royals and is really doing a great job out of the bullpen. So just talking about his journey from making the transition to a reliever and, helping the Royals in a different path than maybe he would have originally thought when he first came out of school. So I think that'd be pretty cool to show that progression.
Yeah, they're going to need them all. Jaylon, we appreciate it. We'll have more coverage tonight of the Royals. They get ready to get right back at it. Noah Cameron takes the mound. It's another one of those weird 5:40 starts. So get ready for it. And we'll see if they can hang in this thing for just a couple more weeks. Jaylon, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. See you next week. There
goes Jaylon Thompson. Always love those visits. It is a stressful time to be a Royals fan. It feels unlikely, Tommy. I'll just be honest. It feels unlikely. Not impossible, not out of the woods. I kind of think it feels a little unlikely, but we'll see what happens.
It goes day by day. I mean, like I mentioned, you go back to Saturday, they were a half game back of the Mariners for the third wild card spot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Mariners win on Saturday night. The Royals lose on Sunday. They lose yesterday. And then all of a sudden you're further back than you were before. So it's a day by day thing. I'm not ready yet to count them out. I've counted them out a couple times this season, and they've gotten right back into the mix of it. So it's just kind of the way that this season has gone.
I'm definitely not counting them out. It just feels more and more. Every loss makes it feel just a little bit more overwhelming. But I do think it'll be the team that gets real hot. There's too many teams in it. This like just everybody kind of floating right there on the same. Doesn't feel like that's going to last forever. It feels like somebody is going to take it and run with it.
You got to get Bobby back. Like if you want to be that team to get hot and run with it, you got to have Bobby back in the lineup. So hopefully those back spasms, work themselves out. He can get back into the lineup and move forward and be one of the main catalysts offensively for the Royals to get it done.
We'll see. We'll see tonight. You'll hear the Royals right here tonight on KFH. Thanks to Prayer Fry Coffee for keeping us fueled up, fired up. Love it. Just might be, dealing with a little bit of a cold, and that hot coffee is exactly what you need, like some of us here on the show today. We appreciate it. Prairie Fire Coffee. We'll come back. We got another hour of Sports Daily. We're going to talk a lot of football in this hour. We'll look around a little bit. We'll talk about that hypothetical reunion of Tyreek Hill to the Chiefs, and we'll look around the rest of week 1 of the NFL, maybe ahead a little bit to week 2 of the NFL. It's Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad to be here with you. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor on this Tuesday, getting you in the books for week 1 of the NFL. Now all the way officially done. Monday Night Football is complete. That means we can turn our attention to week 2, and we'll begin to do that here over the course of this hour, having some fun with you. It's all going to be What's on Tap, brought to you by Wichita Brewing Company, WBC Delano's debut brew, Hatfield's Mama, a German Kolsch with a clean, crisp character that's smooth and refreshing. Make history with Hatfield's Mama. Wichita Brewing Company's Delano debut brew. It's available at all 3 WBC brew pubs. We get you in here, and we get you ready for week 2 of the NFL. We'll get you a HTO giveaway. At some point, we've been talking a little bit of Royals baseball. We'll see if they can get it done. They play tonight as well. Monday Night Football in the books here. Tommy, as we look ahead to week 2, it's easy to already get excited About week 2, it's easy to already look around the league. We're only 1 week in. Chiefs aren't the only team dealing with some injuries. We learned yesterday that George Kittle's going to be out for a while. Brock Purdy might miss a little time with the 49ers. I mean, it doesn't take long for the NFL gauntlet to hit you right in the mouth with injuries and adjustments and everything else that teams are going to have to make here.
Yeah, I saw Brock Bowers is questionable for this weekend. So, he's a guy that got a little banged up over the weekend on that, really talented Raiders offense. And so we'll see if he'll be able to go this weekend. There are a handful of guys that are questionable. Austin Eckler is another one that got banged up in the game on Monday. So definitely some notable injuries.
As we look around this thing, like, the Chiefs jump out to us. They'll be home underdogs to the Eagles this week, and I think that's more than fair. They're 1-point home underdogs. But as you look around the league, there are, I think, several teams that you could go into week 2 and be like, man, they could get off to an 0-2 start. And there used to be this number that would go around all the time in the NFL. Teams that start 0-2 or XYZ unlikely to make the playoffs. And I don't know if that's changed at all in recent years with the expansion of the schedule or anything else. But if you look around and you see, the Lions, are they in any danger at home the way the Bears looked last night? Probably so. The Ravens probably not in any danger. The Cowboys at home against the Giants, they better watch out. The Steelers, of course, get their win, so they're probably pretty safe. But these fringy teams that maybe had the loss, and I think the Chiefs are the headline team of this group. The Texans would probably be up there, but it's the Chiefs that stand out as the team that maybe can't afford to get down an 0-2. Atlanta, to be fair, has got to go to Minnesota. Do you care about that as much anymore as we used to? The 0-2 start and what it takes to overcome. I probably don't. And I don't know if it's the extra game. I don't know what it is. I certainly don't when it comes to the Chiefs. Like, if the Chiefs go 0-2, it's fine. It doesn't seem like as big a deal as it used to be to me.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned because I don't think they're going to go 0-2. I haven't. We haven't made our picks yet, but right now I'm picking Chiefs, and the reason for that is because, well, there are a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think Philly looked overly impressive against Dallas. They looked good, but they didn't look like world beaters necessarily when they played Dallas in that opening game. That's number one. Number two, the Chiefs are coming off of a Super Bowl loss that they need to avenge, and it's back at home. And then number three, I think this is the most important thing. We can talk all day long about the wide receiver room and how it's decimated and they're missing their top 2 guys. Probably, I'm guessing Xavier Worthy's not going to play. We'll find out more about that. But remember, the Chiefs went into the Brazil game with the game plan that was going to feature Xavier Worthy extremely heavy. And he was out extremely early in the game. And so then they had to adjust on the fly, and the offense looked flat because of that. They've got an entire week now, or more than a week, because they played this past Friday. They've had more than a week to game plan, potentially without Xavier Worthy, and put together a strategy on how to beat the Eagles without Xavier Worthy on the field. Potentially. We'll find out what happens with him. But I like the preparation. I like the added days that the Chiefs have to be able to put together an offensive game plan that looks more robust than what they put out on the field on Friday, because they were planning to have Worthy and then they didn't, and they had to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, I just kind of think it's a bad matchup. I like
It's
a lot
not a
of
great matchup. I mean, obviously the Super Bowl tells us that it's not a great matchup for the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's where, and I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. I'll have to decide later in the week. I just, watching what Dallas did to give the Eagles some trouble. They were able to run the ball, which the Chiefs probably aren't going to quite be ready to commit to yet. Whether they will over time or not, I don't think that they will in the short term. So knowing that they're going to want to throw it, I think anytime the Chiefs play, they've got a great chance. We know their history as underdogs. We know all those things, and so. Yes, they absolutely can. I do think it is a pretty tough spot for them this
Keep
week.
in mind, by the way, too, that it's not like Dallas has these world-class running backs. Like Javonte
No, that's
Williams
what I'm saying.
But it's not
the
like,
Chiefs aren't going to run the ball yet. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the Chiefs, in theory, like look at what the Dallas running backs did. The Chiefs have Pacheco, and in theory, they could run the ball really effectively.
They would be well served to watch that film very closely this week and take a page out of what Dallas did.
Yeah, if they turn around and handed the ball to Pacheco 18 to 20 times, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Sign me up for that. Give me a little of that. Give me a chance. The other problem right now, I think, is defensively. The Chiefs have always had a bit of a problem with running quarterbacks defensively, schematically, whatever. Look how many times they've beaten Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying it's like an Achilles heel, but running quarterbacks can run, and Jalen Hurts will try, and they will run the ball. Otherwise, the Eagles could play this very ball control. The one difference for the Super Bowl, of course, is that we wouldn't expect the Eagles to get the kind of pass rush they did in the Super Bowl game. So, whether they're still probably going to get pressure. I just don't think it will be as bad, right, as it was a year ago. So there's a lot to digest with it, but it's just a really tough spot for the Chiefs to have to limp into, basically, injury-wise, and have to deal with. And they have to do it against this team in this environment. And yeah, they can absolutely get it done. I think Travis Kelce is going to have to be a big part of the short term of what the Chiefs must do to get to Rashee Rice and hopefully get to some version of Xavier Worthy back from that injury. We're going to find out all this offseason stuff. I mean, maybe it's a front-heavy season for Kelce. Whether that was the plan or that wasn't the plan, he has to be baked into all of this, right? Like he's going to be the top pass-catching option. I think Hollywood Brown can't get 16 targets a game. He's not going to stay on the field. That can't be the formula.
Well, and don't you think that this game, with the situation that the Chiefs are in right now with their wide receivers, with what we saw in the Super Bowl a few months ago, this is where the rubber meets the road to see if the changes from Travis Kelce in the offseason are legitimate and come to fruition. With all of the storylines about how he got himself in phenomenal shape and he's going to be more of a pass catcher and all, trying to extend out everything, and the fact that you've got revenge and you want to get back to the Eagles on what they did to you in the Super Bowl, and that's a big reason why Kelce came back this year. This game is where the rubber meets the road as far as can he execute in that way that they're really going to need him to.
They can't target Hollywood 16 times a game. I get that they had to do it in the short term. They didn't have an option on the pivot against the Chargers. But if that's the game plan moving forward, he's not going to stay healthy. I mean, he won't. You can't plan it that way because that's just too dangerous a game to play. The guy that you can target that way, in my opinion, is Kelce. You can target Kelce that way. He's done it before. It's no big deal. He becomes the guy you pepper with targets. Juju's going to be a bigger part of the game plan. But in a game like this one, you better play good defense. I'm concerned about that. You better run the ball, and I'm concerned that they won't yet. I don't know if they'll be willing to just say, all right, we got to totally change up the vision we've had for this offense all summer long. We got to immediately drop all that and become a run-heavy offense. I don't think that's going to happen. I will probably be on the Eagles side, probably, as much as that pains me to say. I almost just threw up in my mouth a little bit. But we'll see. That could change. We'll get an injury report. We'll get some of that stuff and see where it lays. There's always the revenge factor for Kansas City, which is a thing, very much so when it comes to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. All right, we'll come back. We'll look at a little bit more of week 2, some of the storylines around the NFL as well that we haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time with. It's all coming for you. It's Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
welcome back in, everybody. You want to win some HTO? You can do that right now. Text the keyword T to 20357. That's T 20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. You can get your hands on one of the new caramel apple iced teas available, all new fall flavor at HTO, East Wichita, West Wichita, or Derby. That's T to 20357. Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. We're glad to be with you on a Tuesday morning here. Tommy, we opened this can of worms. Let's really dig into it. Tyreek Hill is an obvious name in an obvious situation for the Chiefs to at least explore. Is there anybody in the world that doesn't think they should at least explore it? There's a couple of things that they have to consider. The salary cap and the salary situation, of which Tyreek Hill is great this year. And then next year, it's a big cap number. I think it's $27 million this year. And the Chiefs have they only have they would have to restructure it, but I think that they could. I think that they could get him and then restructure some of that somehow. The biggest challenge to me with this, because I don't think he would demand, I think you could get him for probably like a third or something. It's the challenge of, are you desperate enough right now to do it and then deal with the contract for probably at least the next couple of years, depending on how they would have to restructure it? I don't know. And I don't, in the NFL, remind me, can teams eat some of the money? Like, can the Dolphins eat some of the money to sweeten the compensation return?
Yes. Yeah, they can do that. And that would be part of the negotiations if there were, something like that happened where, maybe the Chiefs give you a little bit of a higher draft pick.
Like
I don't think it's a third. I think it's like a fourth. And I think it could potentially be like a third, or maybe you throw in a second draft pick and then the Dolphins eat a little bit of that money. The other thing too, to keep in mind, I've read this a couple different places, that yes, the cap hit for the Dolphins this year is almost 28 million, but a large portion of that is bonus money. So that wouldn't go, it would hit the Dolphins. It wouldn't hit the Chiefs.
Yeah, because his base salary is only like 10 million.
Yeah. Now here's something intriguing that this has been floated out a few different times. I'm not sure. I think the Chiefs would do this in a heartbeat. I'm not sure that the Dolphins necessarily would. I don't think their fan base would love it. But you could package up a trade that included Tyreek Hill for Jawan Taylor and maybe a draft pick here or there. The right tackle in Miami has not been very good. And Tua is not nearly as mobile as he used to be. And so he's going to need more protection. The Chiefs are going to cut Jawan Taylor after this season anyway. Like, that's been, you could read the tea leaves on that 2 years ago, that they weren't going to give him another contract. So you could try to get value in return for him. And there's a need there with the Dolphins that would open up more cap space to be able to make something happen. The other thing to keep in mind too, is that I would guess that Tyreek Hill wants to be back in Kansas City enough that he would probably restructure his contract immediately. It's not like he would say, yeah, I want to be back in Kansas City, but only if you pay me all of the money that I negotiated with the Dolphins. I would think that that would be something that would be on the table too.
He's not going to walk away from money, but it could be restructured. And the only reason I say he's not going to walk away from money is he left the Chiefs for money in the first place. Tyreek Hill doesn't strike me as a, you know what, I'm going to take less money kind of guy, but he might take it in a different way. Your Jawan Taylor theory would be predicated on Jaylon Moore being prepared to be your full-time right tackle. And it would also thin out the line to a degree I wouldn't be comfortable with. I would rather have the Chiefs deal with a wide receiver issue than an offensive line issue again. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, knowing what the future probably holds for Jawan Taylor, wouldn't you rather try to get some value out of him now?
No, because I don't think the future beyond this year is any brighter for Tyreek Hill. I mean, like I don't see Tyreek Hill as like a 2 or 3 year solution. I think that's kind of a for this year deal. I don't know how much value. I think Like if you were asking me right now who the Chiefs, who do they need more this year? Jawan Taylor or Tyreek Hill? It's an interesting question. As much as I think Jawan Taylor is expendable, I don't think that them being thin on the offensive line is something that they can deal with again this year. And that could happen very quickly if they lose that depth. I think they're more equipped to deal with a wide receiver issue in the short term than an offensive line issue in the long term. So I would say Jawan Taylor has at least as much value as Tyreek Hill would to them this year. I'd be nervous to lose a piece on the line.
Yeah, I don't think that the value for Jawan Taylor is significant enough that you can't patchwork together right tackle and make it work. Because I think Jaylon Moore, they view him as a guy that.
Well, I do too. If you told me Jaylon Moore and the entire line would be healthy all year, then I'd say sure. But what are the chances that happens?
If you look beyond this year, I mean, are the Chiefs going to be in the market for an impact right tackle? Probably not. Will they draft a right tackle? Yeah, I'm sure they probably will. That's the MO for the Chiefs. They're not going to usually go out on the open market and try to find a starting right tackle. They did that the last time with Jawan Taylor, but the goal was to have him play left tackle at the time, which never happened. They're paying him left tackle money. So I would imagine that, you don't necessarily have to earmark the dollars from Jawan Taylor to be an offensive line, be offensive line money. You can use that to go and shore up areas that you need help with. And right now it's wide receiver. So, will it be next year? Probably not. It'll probably be defense. It'll probably be secondary to get Trent McDuffie signed, whatever that is. You have to move these parts around and play the chess game to try to make sure that you've got everybody in the right spot. And I understand you don't want to sacrifice potential long-term needs for something right now. But at the same time, I sort of feel like if you can make that swap, and the Dolphins do have a position of need there, you're going to cut him anyway. To me, that makes sense.
Well, it's not the long term. It's the short term. I'm afraid of cutting Jawan Taylor or losing an offensive lineman in the short term. I think they were shaky at wide receiver, and we're seeing that already deal with it. They're still a little thin on the line. We're still entrusting left guard right now to Kingsley Suamataia, which could be a disaster, right? We're already skating on thin ice a bit at the line, not just that's a position that gets injured all the time, all the time. And then what are you going to do? Right. That's what. So I am actually thinking of the short term and not the long term. I don't think either one of these guys would factor into the long term. I think they'd both be short term solutions to problems that currently are in front of you, because next year, Rashee Rice isn't going to be suspended. Worthy's injury was so freakish in nature that it's not I'm not worried about his. So I think, and who knows with Royals, but in theory, you're starting your receiver room with those three guys next year. And then you go from there. So I don't even know how much Hill would factor in after this year anyway. Jawan Taylor obviously doesn't factor in after this year because they're going to cut him. I don't think either one of them do. So for me, it becomes, who do they need more this year? And I still think it might be Taylor, because what happens if they throw more out at right tackle and any offensive lineman gets hurt, then what? I think that is more troubling.
They have some backup guys. Now they're not ideal, but they've got Wanya Morris, they've got Mike Caliendo.
You trust a line with Wanya Morris and Kingsley Suamataia on it?
No. But what I'm saying is that it's not like it's Jaylon Moore and then there's nobody else. And keep in mind, they had to patchwork together the most critical position on that offensive line a year ago. Assuming Josh Simmons can stay healthy, then if there's another position on that line that needs to have some coverage, at least it's a less critical role than left tackle at that point.
Yeah, I would put it this way. The Chiefs can make a Super Bowl surviving this wide receiver conundrum for another 5 weeks. If the Chiefs have offensive line issues this year, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. I guess that's as simple as I can make it. If they have offensive line issues, they're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. If right now the goal is you just got to survive to week 6, right? Because then Rice comes back. And I don't even know when Worthy's coming back. But if you can just get Rice back, they'll be okay at receiver at that point. Either way, Tyreek Hill is a name of interest for sure. He knows everything. He fits. I think the money can work. I think the compensation could be justified, even if it was straight up a second for Tyreek Hill, a second next year for Tyreek Hill. If I was the Chiefs, I'd be fine making that trade.
I'll tell you the other elephant in the room that hasn't been discussed a whole heck of a lot after the game on Friday and looking ahead to the Eagles game is the fact that now with the depleted wide receiver room going into this week and the next few weeks potentially, you've got to have Steve Spagnuolo's units playing extremely well, better than they did on Friday. You're not going to be able to expect to put up a ton of points offensively because you just don't have the personnel to be able to make that happen if Worthy can't go or if he's less than 100% and he does play. Your biggest asset is Travis Kelce, and we don't even know if he's going to be able to get back to the point when he was the top pass catching option in the National Football League. And so I think you've got to make sure that you are playing lockdown defensively the best possible way that you can in this game on Sunday. I mean, we're talking about you have to go all the way back to January of 2024, the last time the Chiefs scored more than 30 points in a game. And they're probably not doing that until at least Rashee Rice gets back in week 6. Like we're talking about coming up on 2 calendar years before there's even like a remote possibility that the Chiefs will score more than 30 points in a game. So that puts the impetus, that puts the expectation and the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the defense.
It is going to be a fascinating open to Chiefs kingdom this year because we're going to see like peak panic on their chances. It's coming. I think for some people it's already here. This season is like just break this season into parts. Do yourself that favor. There is this stretch. There are going to be times where you want to pull your hair out, and it is not going to be the same. And it is not going to be the same as it is in week 15 and 16. I mean, it's not.
I'll tell you one thing right now. If you are a bettor out there, look at the future values if the Chiefs lose on Sunday.
Absolutely.
If they go 0-2, look at the odds that you can get them in the futures market to win the division, to win the conference, to win the Super Bowl. Like, take a look at what those values will be if they go 0-2 or even like 1-3.
1-3 is going to be the number. Like if they go 1-3 and Vegas isn't going to be stupid about that, but it's going to go up. I mean, you'll probably at that point be able to at least get to, 10, 11, maybe if you're lucky 15-1. Yeah. And I totally agree. Again, this will be a year where the Chiefs got to come in as a 4 or 5 seed, but be healthy. And then who cares at that point? Because all of these things we thought about them being better, I think are still going to be true over time. It's just going to be a stressful time to open the season. Most of the time that comes in the middle of the season for the Chiefs, right? There are these stretches. They open strong and then they go through these stretches and then you're like, well, what? But it's fine. They can go 1-3 and it's fine. They could have gone 1-3 fully healthy. And it would have been not the end of the world. So we'll see with them. We'll keep our eye on the Tyreek Hill thing. I don't think the Dolphins are quite ready for that yet, but they could be quickly. They were the team that everybody's dumping on. I'm sure the most in week 1, and that is the case.
They made Daniel Jones look like a Hall of Famer. I mean, he looked phenomenal.
Daniel Jones is in a situation to succeed. I will say that for Daniel Jones. Good coach, good system, good run game, good line, couple of talented, like he's in a good situation to be at least as successful as we've seen him be. By the way, early season trades, we saw one yesterday. Tank Bigsby was traded to the Eagles. So early season trades happen all the time. It could happen for the Chiefs. Did you see one other story? And then we'll get to some more on the other side. Did you see the Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins? How awesome was that to see DeAndre Hopkins make that catch? That was,
I wish he would have made catches like that in
totally
Kansas City, but I mean, that was really good.
It was great. It was great. I thought he was a good Chief. I think he made
He
an
was
impact
fine.
last year.
He was fine.
Did you see the fan after shove him and then shove Lamar and Lamar shove him back? Man, I was so worried. That fan's been banned. That's the news today. He's been banned indefinitely, as he should be. I was real worried that something might happen to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson didn't do the right thing, but man, he didn't do the wrong thing either. Like, this dude was slapping people in the head aggressively. Obviously, Lamar had just seen him do it to D-Hop, and then he does it right in Lamar's face. Like, sometimes you got, and I get it, like, you cannot have players touch it, but that dude deserved way more than that. He deserved to get punched in the face. I'm glad and I hope that nothing happens with Lamar Jackson for that. It was a shove. He pushed him back off of, like, I didn't think there was anything overly wrong with that, but what a mess there. Like, good grief, what a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to think that we're in a world now where maybe we don't overreact to things like that as much anymore. Like, clutching our pearls and I can't believe Lamar even did that. Like, come on, like let's be realistic about it and understand the context surrounding it. And
that dude deserved way worse than that.
Yeah, he deserved to get
smashed.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, a little shove to push him back. I'm glad, at least as of now, there's been no discipline. I'd like to think there won't be.
I hope not. I hope not. All right. When we come back, we touched just a little bit yesterday on some of the biggest offseason stories that we tracked, whether they were the drama stories of Aaron Rodgers and Micah Parsons, whether they were the more football-oriented stories of, the Lions losing their coordinators, all of those things. Let's take a minute when we return and sort of revisit some of the biggest talkers of the offseason now that we've seen a week of football, and what that means for, everything. Also take a minute here to say thank you to Crestview Country Club for their great support of the program. This is a 100% true story. A couple of times in Nashville was with a bunch of different people, and they're like, "Oh man, it's a great shirt. Where'd you get that?" And I'm like, "Actually, golf course, the clubhouse. It's a good time. They just ran a big fall sale. They'll do that as they transition out. So if you're out there, you need some cool stuff. They've got some cool stuff. Check out Crestview. Next time you're out there, maybe you're just playing golf. Check out the golf shop. They've got good gear, clubs, clothes, all that cool stuff in there. So we appreciate Crestview's support here of Sports Daily. When we come back, the off-season storylines. What are we thinking of them after the first week of the season? That's next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor with you on a Tuesday. It is the first Tuesday, I suppose, of the the NFL season here. It feels like, Tommy, if you're a fantasy football player, you've got all your waivers to get through and all of those things. How did you survive in all your all your survivor pools and fantasy leagues and guillotines. Tommy, are you alive and everything still?
Yeah, it was a really good fantasy weekend. I'm in 4 regular leagues for the most part. I went 4-0, and then I'm in a guillotine league and I survived. So it was about as good of a start as I could have hoped for.
Yeah, I had a pretty good start. I think in most of my regular leagues I won. I think I maybe had a loss. I survived the guillotine you and I are both in, which is absurd and crazy. And then the other one that's not as crazy, I got bounced. I needed about 3 more yards from Aaron Jones last night. I thought I was dead, and then he caught that touchdown. I actually fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up and I had like 5 texts. And I'm like, "You might survive," and I didn't. It was that close. It was like, what a bummer. No, it was good. It made the Buffalo-Baltimore game bailed out the betting pretty good. Made it pretty much a break-even week. I think everybody that bets the way I do, where you're doing a lot of like props and things like that, when a game gets up like that, you just about almost always are going to win some money. So hopefully everybody made some money this weekend and did good and all of those things, and that you had a fun and eventful week 1 of the NFL. I want to talk, Tommy. So I think there were a lot of offseason storylines. I think let's start with the 2 most drama-filled, juiciest, maybe obnoxious, however you want to look at it, storylines were first Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he would sign with the Steelers and what that would mean. And then it quickly became Micah Parsons and the drama with Jerry Jones in Dallas. Well, Rodgers comes into week 1 and has one of the more impressive quarterback performances we saw from any quarterback. Micah Parsons was on a bit of a pitch count and still had 3 pressures and a sack and 28 snaps, making his impact known on the game. All of that drama, kind of both worth it, right? Like you see both and you're like, man, these teams are going to be better because of those 2 players.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think starting with Micah Parsons, his addition to the Packers makes them a very legitimate Super Bowl contender. I had them as my Super Bowl pick before he even was traded. That just reinforces
Super Bowl
it in my
making.
opinion.
You didn't have them winning, did you?
Right. No. To represent the conference in the Super Bowl. I think they're absolutely Super Bowl contenders. What they were able to do against Detroit, against a team that has, a ton of weapons. And even though there was turnover in the coordinators in Detroit, even though like all the different things with the Lions, Jared Goff playing outdoors, et cetera, they're still the Lions and they still have a tremendous amount of talent. And what the Packers were able to do in handling them, and with Parsons being able to get into the backfield and get to Jared Goff and have those pressures and all of that, I think that trade absolutely worth it. We'll see. As long as the Packers are winning, I would imagine that Parsons will be on his best behavior. We'll see if there's any kind of drama that happens with him. But I'd like to think that he settles in there and they're winning a lot and he's content and everything is good.
There's going to be drama with him. I mean, he can't help himself. He already went for the drama in his post-game interview, right? I can't believe they traded me so late in the offseason. You asked for the trade. Come on. You can't, you just stop talking. Just go be the Hall of Fame caliber player you are. Stop doing that. You got paid. You got out of town. You got everything you wanted. Now just go be awesome. That's it. We don't need any of the other stuff now.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Of course it's not going to happen, but he's a great player. We don't know what that trade's going to be until we see Dallas make those picks, right? We don't know what that trade's going to be until we see Dallas, who stopped the run better against the Eagles than they did pretty much all of last year. That's a part of that trade too. They attacked a position of need by getting a defensive tackle. So we're never good. The evaluation of that trade doesn't come and has to be made probably 2 years from now. I think both teams did the right thing. I think they'll both be better because of it. Aaron Rodgers also, and his is more, he won't stop talking, but he has to talk because he's a quarterback. He's going to be asked questions. He's going to be put in that situation. He has been, he's been on his best behavior. He hasn't, and he really wasn't ever bad, I don't think, in New York either. I get that it took a long
What? Are you sure about that?
What was he saying that was?
Well, I mean, the whole inner workings of Robert Saleh
Yeah,
and
I don't know on
the
that
interim
because
coach
they
and
weren't playing very good. Yeah, but as far as like he was the days of him going on podcasts and stirring the pot constantly, I think are probably behind him. I've always thought getting him with Mike Tomlin could be the best thing that ever happened for him because man, if you had to give the poster boy for no BS, right? We ain't gonna do it. It's Tomlin. He's that guy. So it does seem like it's a good fit. Now, is Rodgers going to come out and throw 4 touchdowns every week? Of course he's not. But he looked really good. And if Pittsburgh plays defense better than they did in that game, which was a bit of a shocker, but if they play anywhere close to the defense they've played over the last few years and now have DK Metcalf and now have Aaron Rodgers there, they could be a contender. Like you can squint and see it. Like you could.
yeah, I mean, look, I think that they absolutely cleaned some things up during the offseason. For instance, everybody wanted to focus on Aaron Rodgers replacing Justin Fields / Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. I think the more impactful move was replacing George Pickens with DK Metcalf. And it's not even necessarily from a talent perspective, not even necessarily from a production perspective, but you get the, let's face it, kind of toxicity of George Pickens in Pittsburgh out of there. And Pickens, who knows how it'll work in Dallas? Who knows if he will, quiet himself down? But there were quite a few things with Pickens in Pittsburgh where he had worn out his welcome there. And so getting that out of the door, there is no way, in my opinion, no way that you could have had the circus that follows Aaron Rodgers and the drama with George Pickens coexisting together in that locker room in Pittsburgh. So you had to make that move and you had to go get another high impact wide receiver to come in to have somebody to have Rodgers throw the ball to. And so the fact that now it's Rodgers and Metcalf, and then of course, the other pieces on that team with Tomlin coaching them. Yeah, I think I would agree with you when you say if you squint, you can see them be a contender. I'm not ready to crown them. I'm not ready to say that they are likely to make a deep run, but I do certainly think that they will be good, maybe better than good.
What if I told you their defense wasn't as bad as we saw in week 1 and it was closer to what we've seen forever, right? For the last 3 or 4 years. If that is true, then I think they can be really good. I do. I think that it's just like you have to lean into what we've seen from them forever with Mike Tomlin. They're always going to play close games and they're going to be in it. And you're going to scratch your head and be like, how did they win that? If you pair that formula with Aaron Rodgers, who's really, really, really good at winning close games, that's a formula to win a bunch of games. Now, again, it's hard to imagine then when you see the Ravens and you see the Bills, and we'll talk about the Ravens in just a second, but I think like for all the drama of it, good for Pittsburgh for being patient with it all and seemingly making the right call. And for me, any personal feelings, I don't really care. I want the most great quarterbacks in the league that we can have. I want great quarterback play all over the league. And if Rodgers still provides that, I'm really glad he's still in the league. The Ravens, if you're going to be a contender, you've got to at least go through Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. The Ravens, I thought, Tommy, who were my Super Bowl pick, made me feel really good about my Super Bowl pick. They did that Ravens thing where they figured out a way to blow it late. I get it. But Derrick Henry still got just as much juice as ever. And that's all I needed to see to know that they have a chance. Lamar Jackson is playing out of his flipping mind last year and now through 1 week of this season. It is why he should have been the MVP a year ago. He looks so dang good, and Henry still looks as good as ever. Like, their defense isn't that bad. Their defense is not as bad as it ended the game against Buffalo.
I mean, Josh Allen would like a word, I think, in that entire conversation, right?
Well, Josh Allen is also incredible. I'm just saying, like, Lamar Jackson has taken his – Josh Allen's been at this level for a long time. I think Lamar Jackson took his game to another level last year, and I think it looks like it's still there. Yeah, Josh Allen's great. I would tell you this. I think by the end of this season, the Ravens will have a better defense than the Bills. That game
based on what?
Based on last year, based on how much better their defense got at the end of last year, and maybe that was the outlier, and they are not as good and they are as bad as they were at the beginning of last year. But they had so many young players step up and play better at the end of last year that I just think they're going to have a better defense. But we'll see, and it may not matter. It didn't matter on Sunday night. It didn't matter because Josh Allen went and made the plays, but it took a fumble and it took some mistakes. I think the Ravens look fantastic. I think the Bills are going to be fantastic, obviously, and they have Josh Allen. The Chiefs are going to be there at the end. Those three are going to be there. Are the Bengals going to be there? Are the Steelers going to be there? Are any of these other AFC teams? Who's the most likely to be the fourth team in contention? Is it the Bengals, who kind of squeaked by Cleveland? I know Burrow's great. Their defense looked better probably than we thought it would, but their slow start continues. They won the game, but it takes them a while to get going.
I mean, if Justin Herbert can continue the way he played on Friday, that was probably his best game, one of his best games in the NFL. It might very well be the Chargers.
Really good last year.
It might very well be. You're right, but I'm saying that one particular game on Friday was maybe his best game as a pro. He was phenomenal. It could very well be the Chargers is that next team.
I agree. You know what's interesting about that? He said in the offseason, him or his coaches, somebody said he might run a little bit. He's been watching Josh Allen. He has that in his bag. He used it against the Chiefs. Oh, if he does, that could be a big problem for everybody. We'll come back. We got a little more Sports Daily. Don't go away.